All right, everybody, what's up? It's your boy None M. Welcome back to the set off. Today, I'm set off about collectibles. Let me tell you, I had just a moment where I just really let it loose about my disdain for collectibles, at least when done incorrectly, and it made me think I wanted to talk about it a little bit more, give some more context around it. I want to talk about what I don't like about collectibles and what I do like about collectibles, and then give some examples of places I think they're done well and done incorrectly, and then kind of talk about my ideal world for collectibles. So let's start with things that I don't like, right? The number one thing that I do not like about collectibles tends to be when they're tied to any source of actual character performance. I feel like collectibles are supposed to be a side thing. They're meant for exploration. That's why they're always tend to be hidden or tucked away and whatnot. It's not here's a trophy for completing a task. It's here's a secret that you located in the world, and it should be treated as such, right? Treat it as a secret. And so I always hate when it's like your reward for a secret is an undeniable increase in character power. Ew, ew. Get a better system. And so then when I talk about things that I like about collectibles, it's the fact that I just like that the world really comes alive with these collectibles. You talk about like the badass tokens, or not the badass tokens, the vault symbols in the Borderlands games, right? How those are always hidden throughout the world. Or in Diablo 4 recently, there's the altars of Lilith, Lost Ark, there's the Makoko seeds that are hidden around the world. There's other collectibles as well, but I'm talking about collectibles in particular here. I'm mostly talking about items that you go physically pick up in the world. So even though there's a ton of different alternative things to pick up throughout activities and whatnot, I'm talking about specifically things that you find in the world. Altars of Lilith, Makoko seeds, vault symbols. There's a lot of these examples if I go harder and harder on the list. Or like Destiny uses various like ghost shells on some planets, rabbits on other planets, right? These like physical objects that you're just expected to go find in the world. I like it when it comes. I like those systems when it's about the exploration of the world and the expansion of your achievement list and whatnot. It gives you like bigger number to flex, but it has no actual output on how you play the game. And so that's like always been my core stance. And so when we talk about examples that do this poorly, and the one that really set me off into this topic in the first place, it's actually been the Altar of Lilith grind in Diablo 4. Because there is no exploration when you do it this way. Oh man, I should really go explore the world and try to find all these items. Okay, but if I take too long, now I'm stuck searching for hours and hours and maybe only finding a couple of them while and missing out on all the character power plus wasting time that I could be using doing other things because it's not natural exploration. It's man, I have to get this power. I'm not focused on ooh, explore the world. I'm focused on give me power, give me power, give me power. Because Altars of the Lilith give base stats. And base stats are pretty powerful. I believe the summation of it all together is about 40 of each base stat or so for completing all the altars alongside maximum obol capacity. Like that's insane. 40 main stat is like 4% damage and some other, or like 2% damage, 4% damage, and some meaningful stats, right? Why is that a collectible? Let me actually do something for that power. Or just take the stats out of the game. It didn't have to exist. I would have liked to find the Altars of Lilith anyways. They're cool little decorative pieces that look pretty good, honestly. It's a really nice like added touch to the world, but you attached character power to it. And now I'm gonna hit an even harder point home when I talk about how I dislike the way Lost Ark does Makoko seeds. Because Makoko seeds in Lost Ark are also collectibles that give a good amount of like character and account power through having collected an X amount of them over the course of the time period. And the fact that those collectibles are not only way too plentiful, I don't like the fact that Altars of Lilith are like 160 of them roughly. In Lost Ark, there's over 1,200 of them. In fact, I think with the update that that's coming with the Elgazi update, I believe that is literally up to 1,300 Makoko seeds. 1,300 items to pick up on the floor for character power. And they're all hidden. They're not in plain sight. You need to be checking nooks and crannies. And what that really translates to as a player is opening up a map. Because I'm not going to miss the character power, but I'm also not about to go can search for 1,300 Makoko seeds. That's absurd, right? And then to really add on top of it, if the volume of it wasn't enough to really set me off, the fact that it's not just 1,300 of them, but there's a good chunk of them that are on time gated locations. You can only find these seeds between these hours of the day. You can only find these seeds once every 3 days. What? What type of ass backward system is that? Again, we talk about separating it from character power because if it's not a character power based thing, I don't really mind that it's like time locked, right? It's not it's not going to affect my actual performance in any way, shape, or form. Therefore, sure, why not? I'll let it be. It'll suck that I have to keep track of the time to get it. Kind of like how I didn't like the time gating of the rabbits too much in Destiny 2 when Shadowkeep came out. But I understand, right? It's not character power related. It's just it's an augmentation of the story. In the case of the rabbits, anyways. When we talk about the Lost Ark Makoko seeds, those aren't an augmentation of the story at all. Those are just literally little peanuts that you pick up around the world. Why are they time gated? And why do they give so much character power? Terrible system. So when I talk about things that I like about it, it's the fact that I like collectibles that really like add to the the scenery of the world. They're well placed and they're like callbacks in a lot of cases sometimes too, right? So like the Borderlands vault symbols are just little cool, weird, quirky things to find. They definitely do have an implication on character power, but anyone who's played Borderlands games long enough knows that badass ranks are actually a very minute part of your character progression. And there's so many other ways to get that stat that the collection of the vault symbols is mostly an achievement thing. Or we go back to Destiny 2 for a moment, talking about the dead ghosts in some places, or the lore books when before before the great sunsetting of Shadowkeep, or not Shadowkeep, of Beyond Light, the lore books were physical world collectibles that added to the world experience. But there was no power level attached to it. They were just literally go find the lore for these things by being in these places and checking out these weird locations. And they really added to the world storytelling. And that's the thing that really like adds, like pushes it to that level for me, is I think collectibles that add to the story is what I really like. And not every collectible that falls into my I don't like these collectibles doesn't do this. In fact, most collectibles are well themed. Altars of Lilith are greatly themed, right? They're literally altars of praise. When you go to some of them in the game, there are enemies like praying in front of the altar. It's a great system. Thematically, it just sucks performance wise. I think as long as you stick to just having the collectible be a collectible for the sake of exploring the world and taking in everything that it has to offer, that's when the collectible is good. Once you break that line, I think the collectible falls into my shit category, right? So my ideal collectibles look a lot like Destiny 2 lore books from like the Forsaken era. Some of them attached to activities, some of them in world places that you just need to explore. Sometimes you can't even explore those places until certain time periods, but it doesn't make you weaker in any way, shape, or form for it if you choose not to. It is literally just a man, I love this world. I love this story. I'm gonna go find more. Or something you usually like stumble upon and you read it or you see it and you're like, huh, I'm gonna go find the rest of those. Or, I'll keep an eye out when I'm looking around. That's what collectibles should be. Don't make collectibles a core part of the character power. All right, I've like got that out of my system. I had to get that out there, just because I think it's an error that I've seen too many times in games, making these types of systems for character power, and I want that. I really just want it to stop. Right, like I like exploring worlds. I really do. Just don't make me feel like I have to do it. Make me like just have it be a thing that I want to do when I'm really enthralled with your world and like I'm just getting rewarded for being enthralled with your world. Anyways, that's it for the set off. If you guys have any other topics that you guys want me to cover, check them in the comments. come check me out on Twitch. Sometimes I set off on live when I'm just talking about stuff with the chat or with myself. Just really like going at it. Check me out on Twitch when I'm live. Most nights around like 9:30 Central Time. Links that will be in the chat or in the description box down below. And also join the Discord because you can have the discussions with me like live. Or, you can toss me some more ideas or see how other forms of this manifest when I'm getting it done. Plus, you'll be able to get to hang out with the awesome community, just hang out with the people. Really trying to build something here special. Create chambers of intellectual thought and all of that, not all of that lovely stuff. Anyways, that'll wrap it up for this episode. Take care, everybody.